Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
We will wait for another couple of minutes. Meanwhile,
Sure, sir.
if you have any question, doubt, or any job hunting experience would you like to share with your fellow joinee, feel free to come forward and share your experience. And if you have any question or doubt, feel free to ask.
Hi, sir. This is Adi.
Yeah, hello.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Sir, actually, I am working on digital marketing present on SEO. Actually, I passed out 2013 pass out. And actually, I want to change my domain for better package and all that. So that's why when I checked for DevOps in YouTube, I found your channel and joined. Is it like suitable for me, sir, to learn DevOps?
See, you are based in India or US?
Yes, sir. India, sir.
Okay, now yes, if you ask me frankly, there is a little bit cultural difference in between US and Indian IT market.
India.
In US,
Yes.
companies looking for if you are really eligible or not. They don't bother about your work experience and your background. But in India, there is a little drawback or a setback you can consider in IT market or IT job market. They always try to resolve your portfolio on based on your previous experience and your qualification. So if you want to move or change the domain, that's fine. No one going to stop you. But you need to focus on mostly on startup company, not big MNCs.
Yes, sir.
Once you got
Yes, sir.
one, experience letter from any company,
Opportunity.
yes, as a DevOps engineer, then the whole door of your IT market will open. Now you can consider 60% of the job market is open for you, not 100%.
Yes, sir.
It is not
Sir,
about
and also
DevOps.
actually,
For any,
okay.
if you want to change your domain from one domain to another domain in India, US it is they are much more open minded because they are mainly focused that their consultant or their employees are able to resolve the issue or not. They don't bother about their prior experience, their education. Actually, that should it should work on that way only, right? But
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Right.
but DevOps
Also,
is
sir, actually,
much is very in demand. DevOps and SRE, uh, and the learning curve is much more easier compared to if you're joined as a developer. If you want to join as a developer or AI expert in data engineering, the learning curve is much more stiffer compared to DevOps on that field. So DevOps is very easy to learn. And as you were working for last couple of more than a decade in IT industry, so it will be much more easier for you to grasp the stuff. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Understood. Sir, and another one is actually we have internship program 1 and 2. After this, you are providing any uh, like courses to advance or
See,
any like
we do have 4 job ready training. Why?
yes,
And all of our course are designed on based of US job market, US and European job market. Now, out of these 4, one is DevOps, one is cybersecurity, one is data analytics, one is AI data engineering. If after this course, if you feel that now this internship program is the main agenda that create a awareness of the newcomer like you who is want to switch their domain from one to another, or very freshly graduated students, they just complete their graduation in any university in US or India, and they have no idea which domain will work for them. In India, most of the people they choose, they have what can I say, they put themselves after a couple of years that they are in testing domain. Now, testing domain, they have no future. Maybe after 3 4 years later, QA
yes,
testing will be there, but rather than that, or manual testing, even automation testing will be replaced by AI. So
yes, sir.
now investing your effort and money and years of experience on that particular dead end domain is not worthy, right? So our this
Yes, sir.
training is agenda is create awareness and create give them a taste how you will face when you join as a DevOps engineer or data science engineer or cybersecurity expert when you work in a industry, right? You'll get a
Yes,
certificate
sir. Sir,
definitely after completion of this 2 program. But after that, if you feel that okay, I found this particular domain is good for me, but I am not ready yet, so then you can join our original training. And our original training is like 6 weeks long. If you consider for DevOps is 6 weeks long, daily 2.5 hours to 2.5 hours daily, Monday to Friday, and we do have a morning batch and evening batch.
okay, sir.
But again,
Sir,
one thing,
what is the fee structure for cybersecurity course?
you can check. I don't know exact the fees. You can check, and the fees varies from country to country. Uh, but you can
Okay,
check
sir.
our website and you will find the thing. But one more thing, most all of our courses are hands-on training. Now, 70 to 80% of the course is hands-on. 20% is theoretical part, because we believe you can have plenty opportunities and course content available in the internet. Information is free in now market because the help of internet. But the only thing students or consultant are lacking, that their hands-on practice or hands-on in labs. So that is our main
Yes,
focus,
sir.
to make anyone expert on that particular domain, not theoretically, practically, and they should have like 1 to 1.5 years of hands-on equivalent experience if they join our courses. Now, as these courses are hands-on, we do have a upper limit of every batches, like threshold limit, because we cannot take 20 students or 30 students in one batch, so it will be a fish market, and we cannot individually
Yes, sir.
communicate with the students and resolve their labs issues. So
Yes,
in
sir.
our website, every training has starting date, and because it is live training, and if you want to join, just register before that, if it's available.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood. Uh, Sir, after completion of the course, you will give support for like finding job. or preparation for interviews. So I have
We do have a separate group or channel where see, frankly, we don't have any um, uh, helping hand by which we can help. But how we trying to help? See, if you are until unless you get the job, our success story is not completed, right? So we
yes, sir.
can create tell that it is our success story. That I'm giving an example. Few of our students, they came from hospital industry, like hotel in Hyatt, okay, as a
Yes, sir.
uh,
Understood.
but after completions of our DevOps job, that she got a back-to-back job in multiple industry. Right now, she is working as a AWS in Amazon as a AWS senior architect position. And this is a success story we can share proudly. So the one student
Sir,
and their uh, how they have performed and outperformed the job market, their transformation history. So until unless students get job, we cannot share, right? So,
yes,
but
sir.
we do have some our limitation by which we can help on them on job market, like assist in the interview. So, what we have done, we have created a close community of our all fellow students in all streams in a single channel, and we do have some of our mentors, some of our all of our trainers, a few of industry expert in that group, and not in that group students discuss about their day-to-day job hunting experience, what kind of question they have faced. If any question is unanswered, our trainer jump in and resolve those answer, and fellow students or they also share their point of view. So it is like a close community, but with good mentors, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Any more question? Any of you? Somebody check. Sir, I have done a BA. Can I do DevOps? Again, Shubham, you can speak. It is depend upon country to country. Now in India, you definitely no one going to stop you, because if you are good in DevOps, you will have a very good value and demand in market. So your first criteria will to join a job in startup as a DevOps engineer, because startup they are only focused that their employees are good enough to complete the or resolve those issues they are facing right now. They don't judge their background. But it's, MNCs like TCS, CTS, Infosys, uh, in India, I'm not talking about in US. US they don't judge. In India, yes, they are going to verify that your background and your prior experience. But once you get a experience letter of any IT industry company, if it is a startup, a small company, mid scale company, then your door will open for all. So the key thing is you should be very good at DevOps. If you are in good in DevOps, then yes, you do have the demand in the market, and it will overcome that your prior uh, history or prior any career gap or stream gap, anything. Any more question? Okay, Mr. Devashish, I think we can start now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Menon. Audience, my friends, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
You're
very
audible.
audible.
Very good. Let me show my face as well. It has been displayed over the last 1 month, and you may like it or may not, but I have to carry on with that. Okay, so are you able to see me? Hello,
Yes.
am I visible?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
you
Okay,
are visible.
you.
okay, okay, very good, very good. Let me start sharing the screen. We are going to start the recording as well. We are just let me start sharing the screen. Okay. Is the screen visible? Just let me know. I will start the recording.
Yes, very visible.
Very good. So in that case, I will start recording and let's be ready for our session today. Okay, so that's good. Our recording has started. I will say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening because there are many people joining from various parts of the world, like every time. It's a Saturday morning or afternoon or evening, but it's good that you have invested your time and that is more important. And we are joining for a good discussion on DevOps, a particular tool like GitLab. But to begin with, because it's a second program and many of you have not been able to, for whatever reasons, you haven't gone through that particular program one, where we had the first session entirely devoted on the DevOps know-how. I mean, what is DevOps? Why is DevOps? Why do we need to do? I will briefly go over the same thing, but in a very brief period, because my main focus would be on the another tool, which is GitLab. GitLab, because we have already covered, the AWS, the DevOps introduction, the AWS, then we had your Terraform, Ansible. And today, on the fifth day, that is on the first day or the first session of our second program, we are going to start with a brief introduction of DevOps. We will go to GitLab today. On next weekend, we are going to have a very good overview on Docker, the containerization tool. And on the following 2 weekends, that is the third weekend and the fourth weekend, we will have Kubernetes. Kubernetes part one and part two. That is more or less the roadmap. So we have done quite a lot of quite a good number of tools, which are going to give you a good overview and give you a good standing on these particular tools. So let's begin with DevOps and why we need to learn it. That's an important, very, very important thing to understand. Before anything I start, I must understand, I must understand why we need to learn a particular topic. Is that any relevance to me? Whether I will be able to pick it up, as Mr. Menon was telling you, that is very important that you understand all these things, your strong points, your knack, your affinity, and your career goal. All these things should be aligned, and then only you should be able to understand that why you should learn this particular topic. I'm just a mentor and a guide and a tutor, who will guide you through some basic tips and very important tips why you should be planning to take up DevOps. Because our lives have become very complicated. In India, particularly, I'm giving an example. Like in India, the competition is too high. It is not to deny anything because of too much of your population, too much of competition in the market. And so the companies are willing to only take you once you are very good at one thing. Now, what is your option? Are you going to go for a development job? Are you first of all going to step into IT? Many of our students have come from various backgrounds, various domains. It was not particularly IT. Okay. But we have guided them, we have helped them, we have mentored them into certain career path. And they are now in big companies, you know, it's a big story. Whenever we will have more such interactions, you will come to know about lots of those success stories we had. Like one or two examples, what Mr. Menon had given you was relevant. So you have to be very clear in your mind. Let us just have a go through on why industry has adopted DevOps. What was the big reason? Okay. This symbol is very symbolic. That is, this is something like when I say this, whenever I see this particular thing, I have a good feeling. Just to be very frank with you, good feeling because nothing is discrete. You see, everything is intertwined. Everyone is helping each other. All these phases of software development lifecycle. I will go through briefly. Now, there are few compelling business benefits of DevOps. Why industry has adopted DevOps? Why they could not avoid taking this particular thing into their fold? There are seven. These are the things that industry has come up with. Why they have come up with this? These are the seven big reasons. In a gist, it is to deliver a change as soon as you make them. So you have created a product, and if you cannot deliver it fast into the market, then what's the use? Because that novelty of that product will go. So some methodology, some process should be there which will help you to automatically get this product quickly into the market. Rapidly respond to customer impact. Now, you have put a product into the market. That's okay. But maybe the customer reaction to that product could be good, could be bad, could be okay. Okay, it's okay product. So how do you respond to that? Because you have to quickly adapt to the customer feedback, that feedback mechanism, and to incorporate that feedback into your modifying the product quickly again and getting it back to the market with all the customer demands fulfilled. That is very important. And you do not have any other way other than DevOps to fulfill that. That is called the fulfillment. First thing, what you did was provisioning. Then there is fulfillment. If you are working in a telecom industry, these are the very important two terms. Provisioning, fulfillment. Any industry. Only provisioning does not mean anything. You have to fulfill it. Quickly adjust your product into the market demand. And then after your product is okay, good. Customers are getting hooked into your product. That's good. But then see, to attain a particular level is okay. But to maintain certain degree of quality is the last, that is the most and the foremost thing that you need to do. What is that? You have to maintain the compliance, security, and reliability. These are not everyday use terms, not technical terms, but these are the terms. These are the buzzwords. What an industry is looking for, that whatever you do should be compliant with the protocol, with the accepted industry practices. It should be secured, and it has to be reliable. And also it has to be available through, it is like the companies are looking for some products or something which it can run 100%. That means it will never have a downtime. Can you achieve this without DevOps? I doubt. Industry has a doubt. So therefore they had adopted this methodology called DevOps. I'm not going through all the benefits of socio-economic benefits. Our life has become too complicated, you know. There is too much of expectations. involvement, commitments. Sometimes you get totally out of your mind. How do you adjust to all these things? So that is very important. We should be working in an environment which can help us to balance our work and life. So there should be a balance between our work and life. And one of the things that can be done through your work, your activity, can be achieved through DevOps. These are various things. You can go through it. Everything now, whatever I'm discussing, whatever I'm this PowerPoint presentation is there, you will get in our website if you have registered. Okay, even the recording. And these are very common terms. Why we need, these are some very, very important socio-economic benefits of learning DevOps. Now, I am just trying to understand that why do we need to learn a particular topic, a particular subject, or should I be into that domain? What's the big deal about it? Now, it is not my statistic. This is the statistics coming from some big house from Gartner Group. Okay, so they have found out they are very reliable. They are very revered in the industry for their analysis of the trends, the job market, and everything. And they had found out the maximum salaries that is being drawn are through CEOs, CIOs, and CTOs. Of course, these are positions we are not aiming at right at this moment. Are we? No. CEO of a company, CIO, okay, and CTOs. But at least we can aim to be system architects, cyber security and DevOps engineers, DevSecOps engineers, cloud architects, and importantly, DevOps engineer. Because the salary that we are looking into is what is my motivation, which drives me through. And if you look at this chart, these are ranked between 1 to 30, and you will find a developer. Can you see a developer, web developer? It was huge demand at least 10 years back, but now the demand has, or the salary, because the salary is directly related to the demand, and you see the demand has fallen by 11.8%. Whereas you look into a new, a fresh sort of a domain, not even 10 years, or you can say it's a 10-year-old domain. So there is an ample opportunity for you to grab it. So when the fruit is fresh, then only you eat it. If the fruit becomes stale, definitely you will not eat it. So in this DevOps engineer, it is ranking 9th, and it is a survey done from 2021 till date. And what we are seeing that there is an increment. What it started with, now it is almost 14.1% more. Okay, you cannot be a CEO, CIO, CTO, solution architect. It needs a lot of experience, at least 7 to 8 years of experience. We will not have that right at this moment. Principal software engineer, they are drawing a lot of money. Okay, but that also takes a lot of experience. System architect, you need a lot of technical background behind you. Cyber security and DevSecOps engineer and architect, it is also a very good domain. You can graduate, but unless and until you go for DevOps, that topic, you will not be able to. You can directly go into this, but it will be very difficult to pick up, because most of the companies have adopted DevOps. And if you have to secure your DevOps processes and automation tools, you have to learn this particular cyber security and DevSecOps. Okay, so go for this. You have a good salary, which is also, it is ever increasing. Then aim for DevSecOps and cybersecurity. You can also go for data engineering. But okay, so let us go ahead. You can see.
So, Mr. Devashish, I do have a small question for you. So now,
Okay.
as the AI is emerging in the market, and even few months or weeks before that, NVIDIA CEOs already uh, publicly announced that AI will replace the IT market job. So
Mhm.
this, if the AI is growing bigger compared to today's market capacity, will it replace DevOps and this cybersecurity position as well?
There is an ample chance. So, no, see, DevSecOps and cybersecurity, they are there is no replacement for it. Even if you implement any system automation things with AI, but still the security part is very much relevant. Okay, so it cannot be. See, AI can then, in that case, AI will be replacing everything. Artificial intelligence will be can replace anything, but artificial intelligence has to be very intelligently, and government knows that. Any government, any country's government knows that it is not to be implemented everywhere. Okay,
Okay.
the artificial intelligence has this impact or application in a particular area, mostly in the health sector. If it is prudently used, that it will reap the benefits, but it can kill the market if it is judiciously explored or implemented everywhere. So DevOps engineering, DevOps, I mean that security, DevSecOps, all these have its own place. It will take a lot of time, and because of the government's attitude and particular implementation everywhere in Europe also, they have started banning
Yes,
the
Europe
use of.
has ChatGPT and OpenAI. They have put a band. Yes.
Did I answer your question, Mr.
Yes.
Menon?
Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So don't get panicky. Yeah. So there is a Frankenstein in the making, but that is also a Frankenstein. So it is to be understood. So don't worry about that. Get yourself groomed into a domain where it will be easier for you to enter, scale up yourself, skill up yourself, and face the threat. That is what my suggestion would be.
But again, what my thought was, DevOps, cybersecurity, and data engineering itself, because data engineering is a part of AI, is much more resilient of AI compared to testing domain and development domain. Am I right?
Yeah, those are the very vulnerable areas with respect to AI. They will not be able to cope up, if I may use that term. Okay, so development, your thing. So that is one of the reasons, people are companies are not. When I'm saying people, people means the companies in India and all over the world. They are also looking into one more aspect of DevOps. After you have learned DevOps, implemented DevOps in your company, they are going for site reliability engineering, which is called SRE. And since the market demand is slowly, gradually coming up for SRE engineers, what we are also planning, that is an announcement of course, within very short time, we are going to introduce SRE as well. Because those who have learned DevOps cannot avoid and cannot just go away without learning SRE. There are many other aspects of, but basically you have to go for DevOps, because from DevOps you will go into the networking service mesh, GitOps, and then you have the Argo CD, the deployment tools, then monitoring tools, and in overall you need to have your analytics very well done through the logs. So you need to have that SRE know-how as well. So these you see DevOps, DevSecOps, data engineering, as well as the SRE. These four form a very formidable alliance against your AI. You have to fight out. Is that fine, Mr. Menon? Can we proceed?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So see, the ranking, the skill, the tool
Sir,
that you need to know, it ranks top. Docker, Ansible, your one cloud in the knowledge like Azure or AWS. Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is your part of the SRE. Jenkins. Now Jenkins will be replaced by GitLab. Jira will be included within the GitLab. So these are the things that we are going to make you an expert on. I will not go into, I think I have enough. See, one thing I will tell you, 67% of the software development, this is coming from Indeed. Okay, not from Kalkey, these statistics and all those stuff. 60% of the software development teams, that is software development organizations, have adopted DevOps, Agile and Scrum. Out of this 67%, 18% of them has fully highly evolved implementation of DevOps. That means this 18% of companies will not be able to take you. Why? Because they will need a very highly skillful DevOps guy, because they have already evolved. They are in a very good level of implementation of DevOps. But so leaving 18%, almost 82% of this industry who has adopted DevOps, but they have not attained the highly evolved, there is your huge demand. So 82% of this 67% of this market. So you are looking at $30 billion market within 2028. You are already into that phase, 2022 to 2028. It's a huge demand. And this is considering the threat of AI. So Mr. Menon, did I answer? I mean, this is the statistics. You cannot, we cannot nullify this.
Yes.
So these are all considering the threat of AI and how AI can eat up the entire job. But that is not true, because this is going to grow. $30 billion industry. It is not a mere thing. And you can also see the trend. Trend is, of course, it has been up to 2024. But can you see the blue line? Blue line is for DevOps. It is ever rising, and it is ending up in a high note. It is going up. Even the cloud, the use of cloud is slightly bending down. And after 2024, it is going to be in a very straight line. So the demand will not rise that high, but it will be on a very, there will be a demand, but in a very that it's a flat demand. Whereas you think of other things like the microservices, Java, this is going to steadily rise because the world is towards microservices. Okay, let us move on. I will not go into deeper levels. You all know about the software development lifecycle. If you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know, because we have to cover a lot of things. I can briefly go over it. We have a planning. We are defining the requirements, then designing. We have to design the solution. Then we come to the building, which is the development part. Then we put that into the testing to test whether the development is okay. And then we finally deploy it. All these things happen in a very planned manner, with a very cohesive manner, So that is called the software development life cycle. Now, why we are coming? We are going to understand why we are discussing this. In this software development life cycle, we had two models, the waterfall model and the agile model. I will not go into details of these two models, but yes, waterfall model has been replaced by agile model because of some important deficiencies or demerits of this particular model, which was absolutely overcome with the agile model. And remember one thing, with agile model came the DevOps methodology. DevOps cannot survive without agile, and agile cannot survive without or implemented without DevOps. So they are hand in gloves. Why the waterfall model fails is because of its very rigid approach. It has a basic assumption that I will not fail. Everything what I do is perfect. It is a happy planning. It's a happy planning, optimistic planning. This optimism does not work in practical way. So there is no backward movement. That means it is not a cyclic manner. You cannot go back. Sort of, it is very, very difficult to go back because once it is done with the assumption that everything was done correctly at this phase, so I will proceed. Yeah, there are many ways to proceed with every approval, and there are so many steps. But the basic assumption is that we are going to succeed, and that assumption is faulty. Most of the projects fail at this testing level, deployment level, the waterfall model, and it has to go back again. These requirements cannot change. That is one more drawback. See, it's a 1-year project, and within the 1-year project, if the requirements do not change, then what means that the market is 1 year old. And when you prepare a faultless product, if I can assume that, generally it is not. But suppose the product was fantastic. It went to the market after 1 year when the requirements were floated in. Within this 1 year, the market has matured. The demands have changed. The customer profiles have changed. So when you put a product after 1 year into the market, the product is obsolete because your requirements were frozen. There were lots of drawbacks, but yeah. But it was, I'm not saying that this was the only tool available with the project managers and with the project team earlier, almost say 15 years back or 10 years back, you can say. Now came the agile model. You see a cycle and a handshaking between each and every phase. The same, the requirements and design, everything was there, but you see they are working together as a team, well-oiled machine, and each one testing is starting on the day 1, coding is starting along with the design. When a small bit of code is released every day to the testing team. So whatever you fail with the assumption that I should not be failing at the end, in the end, we should fail in the beginning. That is the whole motto. You should fail when you are in standard 4 or standard 5, but you should not be failing when you are attaining +2 or high school. If you fail at that, then your entire process has failed. So that is the motto. You should fail early to be successful in the end. Correct? That is called agile. There are lots of things into agile. I'm not going to the perfect details, but with this model adopted by the industry came DevOps. Customer satisfaction, less planning required. Requirements can be dynamic and frozen functionality. So requirements are always dynamic. It keeps on changing. It keeps on adapting. The requirements keeps on. It's a very dynamic requirement. It depends on the market. You pick up the best and the best fit requirements at that point of time, which has a business value. Deliver them. Don't take time, 1 year. Take 1 month to deliver, say, 20 features, 20 good features of business value. And the functionality can be created. So all these things are because of agile model. Why then DevOps? So this is the developers and the operations team. They are the the pillars of an organization, of a software company, IT company, you can say, or any company who has an IT department. They will have developers, they will have operations team. And of course, this operations team will also have the quality assurance team, where you have the testing team. But can you see this picture? There is a fight. This fight is perennial, ever going, growing, ever going, ongoing. It used to be, because The developers do not accept their mistake, and operations team will not accept their mistakes because they are the backbone of the company. Why? Because all the production systems, all the important systems are under their supervision. They are the most important guys in the organization. Can you understand that? So they will not take any garbage from the developers. Developers are quality guys. They are very good guys. I'm not saying they are not good. But they have a tendency to somehow close the project, close the development cycle. And that is one thing that they will oppose. And there is a continuous fight, and you understand that. There will be a lot of time taken between the developers, and because every project is very stringent on the timelines, you cannot say that I will have my own timelines. No, it is what the timelines have been decided with the project. The budget will depend on the timelines. The quality will depend on the timelines. You cannot keep going and going and going. There is a finite boundary between when the project starts and when the project ends. So, but this fight, continuous fight, acceptance and resistance will keep on delaying the project. Then you stepped in with a suite of tools called DevOps tools. Now, a developer can argue with an operations guy or a testing guy saying that, see, I'm a very experienced guy. I'm 8 years old in the industry. I know lots of things more than you. A testing guy, poor guy who has joined only 1 year experience cannot fight with this guy because they have a lot of, credibility carrying with them. So people, they are go-to guys. So people don't protest or they don't fight against these guys. But these guys are also not flawless. They have a lot of flaws. So what they do, what I have to do, I have to prove as a DevOps guy, I will come as a friend between the operations and dev. So this is dev and ops. I am a bridge. I will bridge that gap between the developers and the operations, having a suite of tools. And these are automation tools. These tools do not give a result which can be challenged by the developers or the operations guy or the testing guy. So now something coming from the tool, if they say that your code is faulty, this is not according to the standard practice, or your the code is not functionally working according to the requirement, then the developers cannot fight against that. Yeah, can it fight? No. So you have to come up with the tools as a solution to that problem of a fight between the developers and the operations. Clear? That is why DevOps is so important, because it is changing the way, the culture of any company, the way it used to work. Now it has created a very friendly environment between the two. So they are working hand in hand. They are not fighting with each other because they are as if this is every other, it's a well-oiled engine. It works very smooth. So Amazon has also said it's a very important thing. DevOps is a methodology as well as a mindset. It is a mindset. See, smallest of the smallest of your manual activity should be automatized. Now, what is then mindset? What is that big thing about the mindset? Mindset of an operations guy coming every day into the office and doing same sort of silo job again and again and again. So he knows I have to start with the job A. I will run that. Job B, run that. After job A has completed, there is a scheduler. So every day the same sort of activity. One day that guy will get no challenges. So if there is no challenges, he is actually wasting his himself into this particular process. because there is no new activity that he's going to do. So what is happening? This mindset has to change. And now if that same operation guy is using some tool, DevOps tool, through which he can monitor something automatically without much of an effort, isn't it good? And he's yielding, the productivity of that guy has increased. That is the thing. That is, DevOps is not only a methodology, it is a mindset. And it is a term by Amazon. It is not I'm saying. So customer-centric actions, end-to-end responsibility, continuous improvement, automate everything. Even a smallest piece of activity should be automated. You should not leave it anything manual. That is the mindset. Work as one team, monitor and test everything. If you can follow all these 6 principles, you are a DevOps guy. Anyone is a DevOps guy. The operations guy who was following this becomes a DevOps guy. A testing guy who is following this becomes a DevOps guy. A development guy who is following this will become a DevOps guy. Apart from you, you are purely an DevOps guy. Traditional IT DevOps, I think we know the difference. See, the DevOps tools are going to enforce that DevOps methodology. DevOps itself is not a tool. It's a methodology. So that methodology will be enforced by having few tools. Each and every facet of software development will have one tool, one or more than one tool. What are the things? Then there are 20 plus DevOps tools, very important tools for you to learn. If you have to stand a good firm standing into the DevOps world, what are the things that you need to learn? We have found out with the market survey that our Kalkey continuously does. We have industry experts in our domain, in our company, who keeps us giving feedback. What is the trend? What is the companies looking for? So we have designed whatever is important for you to learn, to sustain, to survive in this industry, to first of all get a job and sustain that job. So we are going to learn infrastructure as a code, which is Terraform. We are going to learn build tool like Maven or Gradle, version control tool like your Git and the GitHub. Then the container management tool like Docker, Kubernetes. Okay. We are not going to learn right now because in the DevOps course, we have not having anything on the monitoring thing. But when we are introducing SRE, okay, site reliability engineering, this is a huge demand. This is coming up. So be aware. This is an awareness program. So we understand that there is a huge demand coming up for SRE, at least in US and India market. See again, the deployment server monitoring, this will again come under SRE. Configuration management comes under DevOps, particularly like Ansible, we are going to learn. Then in the deployment automation, we will learn Gitlab, because Jenkins has fallen a bit behind Gitlab. So we have adopted Gitlab. So all these things are there. This is the cycle, the plan, the coding, the building, the testing, deploy, operate. Can you see there are few pipelines going between all of these phases? And there are particular tools for each of these phases. So these are the DevOps tools. We are learning Gitlab. Gitlab will take care of Jira. Git is the technology for with the developers and the DevOps guys, because that is where they will store the source code and do the version control part of the coding. Okay, then the build, Maven build. Okay, for the testing tool, there is Selenium, JUnit and Selenium. These are the tools for automation in testing. Then there's the deploy. So for automation of the deployment, you need a Docker containerization, Vagrant or Puppet. Okay, so you learn Docker. In the operate, you learn Terraform and Ansible. And in this monitoring, we are not introducing anything in the monitoring for the DevOps, pure DevOps codes, but we are going to do that for it's a coming up very important. That is the ELK. This is part of your SRE. So these are very important tools that you need to learn. Kubernetes, GitLab, Nagios. Nagios comes within SRE. Terraform, Git, Docker, Ansible. We had already covered the awareness for Terraform, Git, Ansible. AWS, see AWS and your knowledge of Linux is the must. You cannot learn DevOps without knowing about AWS is a cloud, any cloud, and of course Linux. So the Git is for the continuous development. GitLab is for the continuous integration and deployment pipelines. The Docker, the Puppet, Ansible, these are for the continuous deployment, part of the continuous deployment. Selenium is part of the continuous testing. These are all DevOps tools. Nagios is for continuous monitoring. And if you see the overall picture of a DevOps lifecycle, starting with the developer and ending with the deployment into the production server or the testing server or the pre-production server, is this. We are going to learn a lot in depth in our courses. Everywhere, few of the DevOps tools fit in, like Git. Developer puts something on the Git. From the pipeline, the GitLab will fetch those code into its domain. And then with the help of Docker, Terraform for provisioning, and with Ansible, it will be able to deploy it to the testing server. Okay, as a containerized image. And the testing server, the testing with the Selenium will happen. If everything goes wrong, everything goes wrong or something goes wrong, there will be a continuous feedback mechanism through the pipeline. It will go back to the developer. Developer will correct it, again put it back to Git, and the cycle continues again and again, iterative. Finally, if everything goes fine, there will be an approval process, and then comes this is the delivery, and this comes the deployment. So a continuous integration with GitLab, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. This is called the CI/CD. So who is a DevOps engineer?
So, Mr. Devashish, before I ask, I have a small question. Before I ask my question, anyone has any other question? Please feel free to ask, because it is an interactive session, and as it is an awareness session, our main agenda is to give you the proper guidance and showcase the DevOps pipeline and DevOps lifecycle. So before asking my question, just if you have any question, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask the question. I don't think anyone has any questions, so let me ask mine. As you mentioned, in our courses, we have changes from Jenkins to GitLab, right? But is GitLab is better or much more improved version or better tools compared to Jenkins, or it is solely on market trend or company's requirement, based on company's requirement?
I'm going to address that question. It's a very pertinent, very good question, because Jenkins was very popular. Even today, Jenkins is not that it is lost its popularity, it's still popular. But we have to always go for the future trend. And that is what my next topic would be. When I discuss GitLab, I have a particular slide which will go for this particular thing. That means we will discuss about why we have replaced GitLab. I have Jenkins with GitLab. I have a topic. I have a slide for that.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'll wait
can
for
we
that.
park that question for that particular
Yes.
moment?
Sure. I think
Thank you
Babatunde
for this question.
has one question.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
Babatunde.
yes.
Yeah. So my question actually is with the GitLab. So for people, because I think one major challenge of people without any IT background, going into DevOps is coding. When people say coding, like, a lot of people face challenges. For someone like me, at least I've been working for the past 2 years now, right? But I've never really worked in DevOps per se, so, but coding has been one major challenge. So, and I've seen different pipelines, like some complex pipelines, which are very, very difficult to comprehend, So how easy is GitLab compared to other types of CI/CD platform, like maybe Azure DevOps or Jenkins, when it comes to coding, like, how easy is it?
Coding, when I say coding or when we understand by coding is something very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a general perception that we need to know the methodologies, the procedural way of breaking down the problem into smaller modules and then code that module so that we can get a result. That is a very logical approach. Here, that is called a procedural or imperative sort of thinking. Imperative. That is, you are always asking how to do it, how to do it, how to do it. And to solve how, you have to go into deeper and deeper understanding of the programming language, particularly. You are basically converting your thought into a code. That is quite, you need a lot of learning for that. The learning curve is very steep. But what we are talking of here, if there is any coding, if for that sense of term, the coding is only restricted to scripting. Scripting and coding are two different things because scripting is following certain, it is called declarative. That is, you are asking what to do, what you want. This what is the essence of DevOps. A DevOps guy never asks how. How is the development team will look into it, the design, how it is going to work. You say what I want, what is my desired state, whether I want a server of this capacity, what is whether there will be a load balancer, whether there will be a service layer, whether there will be an abstraction layer on top of a particular container. These are what. How is you do it, you do also the how part, but you are substantiating the what by writing scripts, small scripts, which are very simple to write. Very simple. And now there comes the beauty of GitLab with respect to Jenkins and Azure DevOps, where you need to have a good background of development. Because why, Jenkins works through plugins. GitLab does not work through plugins. GitLab has its own library and it will be just simple, like you are writing simple English language through scripts. So there is a pipeline script. And with that only, if you learn that, which is not a language, which is not at all difficult, the learning curve is quite less in compared to learning Jenkins, the Jenkins pipeline script, though both are scripts. But if you compare the GitLab script in compared to Jenkins, the amount of output that GitLab generates in a pipeline, the automation that it produces will be quite less number of lines of code compared to what you do in Jenkins. Did I answer? See, if I do not show you hands-on and I do not we do not go through that learning process. It will be very difficult over just to say over words and statements, but that is the essence. It will be very simple to learn, and that's why you see, you should not complicate the life. You think we must keep things very simple. We have a general tendency of thinking very complex, but DevOps is against that. DevOps thinks logical, to the point, and simple.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. I just have one question. This is my first day of joining this class. So
this is the first day?
Yeah. So in this class, like, are we getting all the knowledge, or do we need to attend like whatever course you are providing after completing this? I'm sorry, I had that confusion.
Yes, this is internship. This is an awareness program. You know, it is a 2-hour session is not enough. Do you think in this tough competitive market is a 2 hours learning on any topic? I am trying to cover the overall, so that it gives you enough good awareness why you should learn something. Without that understanding, if you try
yeah,
to
I
jump
see,
into,
but like there are, yeah, sir, there are like several classes as well, right? Every Saturday.
Yeah, every Saturday, but you see
those
DevOps is the
classes are
suite
like,
of tools.
Yes, sir. So those classes are like, again, the awareness classes, and then we need to do the course provided by you.
Okay,
It's entirely up to you.
Let me
Mr. Menon.
answer the question. Now, DevOps is a culture where we as a employer and employee, they need to work with the multiple tools. Now we break it down in 8 sessions, and every day we are going to cover one particular session. Now this session is good enough for those students or consultant or IT professionals who have right now working in DevOps job, but they don't know on that particular tool set. So they will grab this knowledge, and they that is good. This knowledge is good enough for them because they have other holistic overview. But if some freshers and very newcomers want to join in industry as a DevOps engineer, this training is not good enough for them, because it is as Mr. Devashish mentioned, that it is like it will give a holistic overview of a particular tool set. Now this 8 weeks is a you will get a holistic overview of DevOps. Now every weekend we are selecting one tools. First day we have started with Linux, second day with AWS, third day we have worked with Terraform and Git and Terraform, fourth day Ansible. Today is the fifth day, we are going to cover Gitlab. Tomorrow, next weekend, we are going to cover Docker, and the next 2 consecutive we'll cover Kubernetes, because Kubernetes is a huge ocean.
Got it, sir. Okay.
Now, but
Kubernetes is an ocean.
But you will get a holistic overview of, if you complete this 8 session, you will have a holistic overview of DevOps lifecycle.
Okay, sir.
Now,
Thank you so much.
now about your profile, if you are working as a DevOps engineer right now in the market, then you are lagging with particular one tool set knowledge, this program is good enough, because 90%, we are just topping up the rest 10%. But if you are very new, then I think you need go deeper, because the total 8 weeks course duration is 16 hours, but our main course duration is 75 hours. And that is 80% of that course is hands-on. Here around the hands-on is because we are dealing with plenty new students, so we cannot maintain our hands-on ratio. So we restrict ourselves with like 50% hands-on, 50% theoretical part. Because from very beginning, if we start with GitLab interface, it will be very hard for students who don't know about GitLab, right?
Okay, yeah, I got it now. Thank you.
Okay. Most welcome. Any other question?
After this internship, do we get like certificates?
Yes. You'll get your e-certificate, but for that, yeah, please go ahead. So for that, to get the certificate, you need to complete all the coursework, and small test is there. It is the certificate will not reflect the numbers or your aptitude test, but I will highly recommend to complete those tests to at least you can judge yourself that where you are right now standing. So you just need to go to our website, and you will find day wise all the course content, these classes recording, a little hands-on practice,
Yes.
a few quizzes. So it will help you in long term.
Thank you.
Just try to understand this job market for DevOps is already touching 10 years. If we take 2015 as the year mark, okay, so it is going to be 10 years, and therefore 10 years is not a very little time in a IT industry. So if you have to learn something, if you have to work on something, you have to have a bit of good knowledge on it. So if there is no other question, let me proceed with some overview of, okay, there is, yeah.
Yeah, so my question is, now as a DevOps engineer, right, in a particular DevOps role, all these 20 plus tools, so are you supposed to be versatile in it? You understand? Or you just have to know some of them, you know,
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. So our course design is such that we start from, day one with we start with the knowledge of cloud. We will start with AWS, then we will graduate to Linux, then we will come to Git. So it is not as if we are overnight, over a fortnight, we are going to make you a champion in DevOps. It is not that, and it's not possible also. So we take things gradually over a period of 6 weeks, and we cover almost 75 hours. 75 hours every day, 2.5 hours for 5 days in a week. It's a grueling thing. That means if you are serious, if you want to get into a DevOps with a good knowledge, we are definitely going to prepare you. But as people say, wise men say that 99% perspiration from your side and 1% inspiration from our side. That is the whole thing. We are there 100% with you, but we will, and we have been success. There are lots of success stories that we have with many students coming from a even from accounts background, they didn't have any IT background. So that is one area, DevOps. You cannot step into development. You cannot step into AI and statistical analysis and all the stuff. Why? Because they need a lot of pre-knowledge. Here, you do not need a pre-knowledge. We are going to groom you with each and every aspect of how to be gradually developed into a full-fledged DevOps engineer. Then, of course, there will be other steps in the ladder where you will, after you have learned about DevOps, you will step into your DevSecOps and cybersecurity, because that is also a huge demand in the market. Clear?
Bimi, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you asking about the job industry that you need the 20 tool set knowledge to prepare yourself for job market?
Yes.
No, you don't need to be master for all 20. As Mr. Devashish mentioned, all of our trainings we design or name themselves as a job ready training. So out of those 20, 5 tool set is required to become more than enough to be ready for job market. And apart from these five, you need another two knowledge. That is a fundamental of IT industry you can consider. One is Linux, and the second is AWS or any cloud. Or any cloud. It is we are covering AWS, but it is as AWS is market captured around 60% of the IT industry. 45% is Azure, rest Google Cloud, and the rest. So in all our top in DevOps, there is another thing is very important. You will find every segment there are 2 or 3 or more than that alternative tools. Like as we mentioned, Jenkins, GitLab, Salt, TeamCity, there are hundreds. But we are mainly focusing on based on market trend, which tools actually outperforming other tools and has very much market demand, and has new extra features compared to their prior or their competitor. We try to choose them, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. If there are no further questions, we can proceed with our overview on GitLab. Is that okay?
Yeah, please, sure. Yeah.
So I have already shared. So let me. Are you being everyone able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just to begin with GitLab, I will tell you GitLab is a CI/CD pipeline. That is the main utility use of this is a CI/CD pipeline tool, a pipeline automation tool. It is CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery and deployment, as we were discussing earlier with DevOps. So this tool is a web-based Git repository that provides free and open private repositories. Okay. It has a whole suite of things. It is not only a Git repository. It is not a substitute or GitHub only. As we proceed, we will understand that it is a complete DevOps platform. That is, if you have GitLab, you are mostly having everything which is required for a DevOps platform or a DevOps lifecycle to be executed. You have this major platform called GitLab, and on top of it, you have Terraform, Ansible, you name it. AWS CLI, Docker, Kubernetes. So it is one of the base platform on which every other day, and not only the DevOps platform, it is also going to substitute Jira. Jira is a project management tool. Okay, GitLab replaces Jira. GitLab replaces Jenkins. GitLab replaces GitHub. What else a company would like to know or adapt to? The best. I don't have to license for separate tools. And if you have to have all those, you have to have expertise or specialists on those tools. The knowledge base can differ. Difficult to get all these people assembled together and work together. So person knowing GitLab knows each and every part of it. It is a complete DevOps platform that enables professionals to perform all the tasks in a project. You see, the highlight is the project. As if you are doing a DevOps project or a project starting from planning and source code management to monitoring and security. So it's a complete life cycle, starting with Git, starting with the version control, ending with the monitoring tool called Nagios or any Splunk, or implementing SRE. So it is a complete suite. It was commercially released on 2014 Okay. It encompasses the entire DevOps lifecycle, SDLC, as known as ideation to production. Ideation means start of an idea, start of the requirement, and convert that requirement into a product, into the production. So from ideation to production, everything, whatever you need will be available with GitLab. Like you can have the issues and issue boards. There can be Kanban boards or a Scrum board, Agile. So you can go for an Agile project just by managing those Agile, whatever the Agile principles and Agile elements or components. You can have the code reviews. That is one big, see, the code review could be done separately with SonarQube. SonarQube is a code quality checker. Okay, but you can also do the same activity with, code review. So one tool replacing multiple tools. Continuous integration, automated build and test, continuous delivery and deployment, which is called the CD. CI is continuous integration, and container registry. Okay, you don't want to go for Docker Hub because Docker Hub is a public repository where you store the images, the Docker images or images. Here you give, the GitLab is giving you the container registry. Container means a place. When we learn Docker in the next session, we are going to have an overview of Docker. We will understand what is container, and we store the images inside the container. Okay, so that will be available as a registry over in GitLab. You do not see, the main thing is you do not need to go anywhere else, as if you are entering a departmental store and you get everything starting from your rice to your dresses or to your crockeries, kitchenware or electronics items, everything in one house. You do not need to go shop around. So we are going to look into the basic CI/CD pipeline. What is a pipeline? Automation pipeline, GitLab architecture, basic concepts of GitLab CI/CD. And also we are going to learn the following: how the GitLab CI/CD works, if possible. See, it's a very short time, but we are going to have a very good overview. And what are the main building blocks? So GitLab strives to become a complete DevOps platform, and in that strive, it has almost completed its objective. It is one tool having everything. Hello? Any question? It is a platform on which you build your complete DevOps workflows. And so if you see, this is GitLab. This is the logo of GitLab. It is already gaining a stature of a DevOps platform. People have started using this as a DevOps platform where you start working with other tools, integrating all the other tools available in the market. It can manage your code, the code which is coming from the developers. What is that? It is like a GitHub. So you do not need to go to purchase a license for GitHub. Okay, you do it over GitLab because GitLab gives all the GitHub features. The version control tool, plan. It is the part of Jira, like you can plan your project. So it is Jira that it is giving all the features of Jira. Create. You are going to create something like your basically the pipeline. You are going to build your pipeline. That is one thing that you have to do. Somebody was asking me about whether you can code. You can code. Can anybody tell me how can you code your infrastructure? We have already gone through that. If you can please attend. Somebody, any guesswork? how do we code? What is the tool through which we code our infrastructure? The servers we create, the storage we create, the IAM user we create, the the networking we create, all the resources we create over the cloud. Can you tell me how do we code that infrastructure? Using which tool of DevOps?
Infrastructure as a code. Probably maybe Terraform something.
Oh, fantastic. Great. It's a good work. Terraform, yes, Terraform. So you say I code. So and we have seen on a Terraform demonstration that the code is not the code of Python or Java or PHP or something like difficult ones. Simple HashiCorp language, so which are very simple scripts you write and you were able to deploy something or provision something on the infrastructure as an infrastructure. So, and if I ask you, how do you code your configuration? Can you tell me which tool will help you? You code your infrastructure with Terraform. Absolutely wonderful. What about you code your configuration? That means you want to install some software onto the platform that you have just now delivered with Terraform. Let's say I want to install Apache. I want to install Nginx. I want to install Java. So which is a DevOps tool through which you can do that?
Ansible.
Ansible, the configuration management tool. So you say, I am coding the configuration through coding of so you write some small playbooks. Those playbooks are Ansible playbooks through which you can execute some job on some remote server, like installing Java or installing your application, configuring your user, configuring the storage. So whatever you do, configuration is through Ansible. So you say, I'm coding the configuration. If I ask you, how do you code your pipeline? The pipeline that will operate between various tools to deliver the jobs or to have the pipeline jobs executed over the pipeline. You say, I will use what? I'm coding the pipeline. Some simple scripts to code the pipeline, to make the pipeline automated. What do we say? Jenkins. Fantastic. Because Jenkins comes automatically to your mind because Jenkins is very popular. GitLab is one of the tools similar to Jenkins and much more. So I can code a CI/CD automation pipeline over GitLab or over Jenkins. So they are called the integrators. Then after you have coded your pipeline, you have delivered the jobs or you have sequenced up the jobs that will be executed one after the other. The Terraform job, Ansible job, AWS CLI job, shell jobs. You need to verify your code, isn't it? How do you verify? You also use GitLab. And now everything has been done. Approval has been given. Okay. You want to package it. Now, there was an approval from the development team. Okay. There was a peer-to-peer testing or unit testing, you can say. And they have verified that the software that was created in the pipeline were working fine. Whatever the developer has put into that pipeline is working fine. So now let us package this. So who will help? GitLab will help to package. Package means something like you containerize it, isn't it? Your entire thing, you put an environment, an abstraction layer on top of your image or top of your application, which is an image. So you package it. And next comes the question of your package, now you are delivering from one platform to the other platform for testing. You want to release it. Before release, you have to ensure that your package is secured. Nobody can decrypt, or nobody can in between when you transport it or port it, nobody can go and extract the data, confidential data from it, or can execute the application or hack your application. So you have to enable the security. Who will do that? Who will do that? Help you to do that? Also GitLab. Now you have packaged, and now you want to release it. Give some particular, you merge it. You merge from all the branches, you package it, and now you want to release it. Who will help you? GitLab. Now you want to configure it. Okay. So maybe there is some requirement of configuring the environment on which your application will be hosted. So that configuration, who is going to help you building up that environment? Again, GitLab. Now, finally, it has been delivered or deployed into production. You have another very important part is to constantly monitor, continuously monitor the health of the product that you have deployed onto production. Who is going to help you doing that? Again, GitLab. Okay. So you plan, you implement. Implement is develop and build. You test, package, release, observe or monitor. All these aspects of your pipeline or whatever you say as a software development lifecycle can be observed or can be implemented over GitLab. So it is not only a pipeline, automation pipeline. Jenkins only does a automation pipeline. Jenkins cannot help with planning, cannot help with versioning or implementation, the whatever the implementation of the developer's source code, testing, packaging. So entire project can be handled over GitLab. That's the reason why GitLab has many built-in features or out-of-the-box features available for DevOps and IT projects. Many features. Once we start exploring, I mean, you can just appreciate. And also the core, yes, of course, you can say, what is the core of that product? What is the heart of the product? The heart of GitLab is, of course, CI/CD pipeline. CI means continuous integration, continuous deployment, or continuous delivery. So what do we do as an overall? GitLab will execute the pipeline that you have configured. We are coding the pipeline, isn't it? We are going to code a pipeline with the help of GitLab script. And to release new code changes to the end user, we are going to deploy it to the end user into the production or pre-production, whatever. So the developer will merge the code that he or she has developed from the various branches into one main branch and put it into some maybe into a master branch of the remote Git repository. And it will be released for testing. If the testing is fine, then you will go for the final build and packaging. And whatever the build, whatever the output of the build, you always have to store it in an artifact repository. See, as I was telling you, discussing that 18% of that 65% of the industry who has adopted DevOps, out of that 18% has evolved into a full-fledged DevOps house. They will always go for artifact repository. Let's say one example is Nexus, where you store all the artifacts for future reference, or maybe a rollback. There is always a possibility that when you deploy into the production and something goes wrong, you have to go back to the previous artifact and go back to the developer. They will again start rectifying whatever the issues, put it in the version control, again test, again build, again put that that versioned artifactory into that repository, Nexus, and deploy it. So all these things happens in a very organized manner. So CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment or continuous delivery. And what it basically means is automatically and continuously testing, building, and releasing code changes to the deployment. You understand all these terms. The same thing, just to explore what is CI and what is CD. What is continuous integration? You continuously integrate your code, the code coming from the developer, into the GitLab pipeline, building this thing. So up to this stage where you build and package is called the continuous integration. And whenever after you have put that into the repository, after that, for security purpose, that means for you can always go back to this artifactory and get back your build and package and unpack it. Like you are gifting something into a beautiful package, then somebody whom you have gifted will unpack it. Similarly, here also you can do the packing and unpacking. Deploy to the dev. So here comes starting from here is the continuous delivery or deployment. You deploy to the dev environment, deploy to the staging environment, which is a pre-production environment, or finally you deploy to the production. You are launching the product. So that means when a developer commits a new code into the GitLab repository, see, I am not using GitHub repository. As I told you, GitLab has replaced GitHub. You can do whatever GitHub can do. You can do it similarly on the GitLab. So you have a GitLab repository. GitLab will automatically execute a CI/CD pipeline. I have a small demo for you to comprehend the power of GitLab. But let's see if I can get some time. You have configured for your project to release those code changes to the end environment where the end users can access them. That is the ultimate objective. There are many competing brands to a CI/CD pipeline. Somebody was asking, somebody mentioning that there is Azure pipelines, there is Jenkins, there is TeamCity, there is Travis CI, there is also from the AWS house, that is the cloud, like from Azure is a cloud. Azure comes with Azure pipelines as a service for implementing an automatic CI/CD pipeline. Similarly, AWS will come with core pipeline. It is also very popular, but for that you need to go for AWS. You have to go for this AWS cloud. This is a proprietary, like Azure pipelines is a proprietary of Azure. Similarly, code pipeline, AWS code pipeline is a proprietary of AWS cloud. But GitLab stands tall among all of this. Why? Advantage of GitLab. We have been discussing the advantages of GitLab. It is replacing so many other tools in one house, in one department store. You are getting everything. So your team is actually already working with GitLab. You have your code there. So all the source code is already available on the GitLab repository. So why to go here and there? So if you have built a project over the GitLab, everything is available on the GitLab. You do not need to go for Jira for extra project management tools to get. You get it on GitLab. So this is basically an additional feature that you can extend your workflows on GitLab with with, and you don't need a separate tool for that. So why a company will spend additional money in procuring Azure pipelines? If you have GitLab, you do not need to go for Jenkins or for this thing. You do not need to go for Jira. You do not need to go for GitHub, because you see, everything comes with a price. Nothing is free. You do not need to go for a code quality check like SonarQube. It is available with GitLab. So you get started without any setup effort. Now, one best thing about GitLab is, if you have used Jenkins, you will know it's a bit, maybe you are not finding it difficult, but for a fresher, for somebody who is using Jenkins very new, it is quite tough to create a cluster and keep the Jenkins nodes working together. And on top of that, you have to create the pipeline environment. It is not a simple task. Whereas everything is built for you in the GitLab. You do not have to have a requisite knowledge of setting up the pipeline. Pipeline is already there. You use it. As I was saying, somebody does how and somebody does what. You in GitLab is a perfect DevOps tool. You know why? Because they only let you focus on the what part, not the how. Jenkins will force you to create, so you need to know the how part of it. Okay, but I'm not saying Jenkins is not popular. Jenkins is still very popular, but GitLab is capturing the market. Now, as somebody was asking, I think Mr. Menon was asking why my industry expert has suggested me to adopt GitLab for my training course schedule. We were delivering the courses on Jenkins initially with almost 30 batches that we had already, 34 batches, sorry. With the 35th batch, we introduced GitLab because that was the right time to introduce GitLab, because our students would be facing interviews and people have started asking less on Jenkins, more on GitLab. Because whatever the concept, see, the pipeline concept remains the same. Technology does not change. Only if you have learned GitLab well, you can cover Jenkins, you can cover Jira, you can cover SonarQube, you can cover GitHub, everything. Seamless integration into code repository. So your code repository is hosted over GitLab. You do not need to go run here and there. And running here and there, you know, many developers find it quite disturbing. Not only disturbing, it is very error prone. You can miss out. From that repository to this, you may miss out something, or there is some audit problem. Okay. No, nothing, no need to worry about that. You have a seamless integration of your code repository. Using CI/CD without overhead setting it up. You do not need to set up the CI/CD pipeline, but whereas in Jenkins is only a CI/CD tool, it is nothing else. But it's a very good CI/CD tool. I will not say it is not, it is very good, but it is only a CI/CD tool. Pipeline configuration as a part of your application code. In CI/CD, you have to set it up fully. Here also you have an advantage. You do not need to set up pipeline configuration as a part of your application code. Now here is the important thing. You do every configuration as a code, and that is very simple. Whereas you have to set up the entire environment yourself, not as a part of code. So there are many manual activity into it. And finally, when it comes to automation, you create again a complicated Jenkins pipeline script. Because Jenkins is entirely based on plugins. And you have to know the working of each and every particular plugin. Whereas, let's say you are working with Jenkins for a Terraform plugin or Ansible plugin. You have to know those plugins well, how to work with them. Here you do not need. You need to know Terraform. You need to know Ansible. That is also you have to. So you are writing the Terraform scripts. You do not need to change anything for that Terraform. You just put it as a job. That's all. It is also self-hosted or SaaS, software as a service. It's a big facility. You can leave it on everything for security, for availability, for monitoring purpose, so verification purpose, everything for secrecy, security, everything will be managed by GitLab. This is self-hosting is the only option. It is not managed. Jenkins. So a GitLab architecture, if you say now the question comes in your mind, in your intelligent mind, is that if GitLab is doing me everything, giving me everything, basically how does it actually work? Isn't that one question hammering you? So we must understand the GitLab architecture. It is a very simple architecture, but see, on the surface, if you see something very simple, you must understand the technology inside is very complicated. But on the surface, if it is simple, let it be simple. I would like to work on that simplified layer which has been given or presented to me by GitLab. Why to worry about what is the complicated architecture or the engine behind giving us that simplified view? If I'm going to work in an IT industry, I will not make my life complicated. As it is, my life is already complicated. Why to worry about something which has already been done for you? Take advantage of it. So GitLab architecture is providing you that facility that you simply work on it. I have set it everything for you. I have a GitLab instance, and that is the beauty, that you do not need to create a server, because if you want to install Jenkins, you have to install Jenkins on a server. You have to install the Jenkins nodes. You have to connect those nodes over some Jenkins agent working on those nodes. This is quite complicated, boss. I will not go for that complicated architecture. I will say GitLab provides me with that somewhere in the cloud, somewhere there is a server maintained by GitLab. It is not your headache. You create one account. That's all that you need. You need how simple, how life can be simpler. That is our objective. And GitLab says, boss, Debashish, you do not need to worry. You just simply create an account with me. I will take care. I will give you the storage. I will give you the repository. I will give you the processing, whatever you need, how much speed you need, how much security you need, how much maintainability you need. I will give everything, all the resources for you. Just use it. Be happy. Okay. So that GitLab magical instance is hosting your application code and your pipelines and basically the whole configuration. So why not? Every organization is accepting this facility, this simplicity, this beauty, this power. It is saving a lot of their cost. And what a company looks, what does a organization will look into? That I will save my cost. Why shall I invest on technology? I will invest on my manpower, quality manpower, who can operate on this. That's all. I do not need to invest. Technology itself is going to change every day. I will not keep on investing on technology. Today, this becomes obsolete. Tomorrow, that becomes obsolete. How much I can push in capital investment on this? No, I will not. If somebody is helping me with this, let's go with that. Anybody wants to ask anything? Is there any doubt in that philosophy of GitLab? You are a friend between the development team and the operations team, testing team, quality assurance team. And GitLab is making you a friend by providing with such a powerful tool. Okay. GitLab runners. These are runners which are simple things. In Jenkins, you have to implement that executor through the plugins. For each of them, there will be some executors. Okay, for that, the pipeline. Here also, you have to have some executor, and we say these are GitLab runners, which will run the job on the pipeline. So on the pipeline, you will have job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, n number of jobs. It will be sequentially or parallelly run. It can be. So you, yeah.
Mr. Debashish. I think one question we have that Rajnit asked: GitLab is free or it is paid services? And I do have one more question that as we are have like a very few minutes left, we are at the end of our sessions, kind of. But do you have any opportunity to see the GitLab a little bit hands-on or the interface? So this question is from my side, and Rajnit has a question that is it free service or it's a paid service?
Okay, Rajnit, what would you like to have? Something if you learn free, will you go for it? Because
no, he is asking about the GitLab services.
GitLab service, that is what I'm saying. So Rajnit, is it right?
Yeah.
Ranjit, for Ranjit.
Ranjit.
Okay. Yeah.
Ranjit, see, for learning, these are all open source softwares. All the services you get from GitLab are free for you to use. You can build your project.
Wow.
Okay, so you don't have to spend a cent or 1 rupee on it while you learn. Yeah, you learn it very well. GitLab is saying that please learn the technology very well. Okay, then get a job. Now let the company get the enterprise version. Because if you want to launch a product or to deliver a product commercially, I will not allow, because that is against the norms, that if you have a free thing and you try to deliver it onto the commercial, then there is a illegal thing. So your company is not going to do illegal things, but let your company pay for those services that I provide as a GitLab. So let the company buy the enterprise version. But when you learn it on open source. All the features available on enterprise will be available on the open source. So learn it free. And when you get a job, you are get paid. Let company pay for my services, my GitLab services.
So correct me if I'm wrong. If I present in other way, so individual services, but so GitLab for individual is free, but GitLab Enterprise for the companies or big brands, it is paid services for them, right?
It's paid services. Paid services.
Okay.
And your question was, how do I manage within this short time? I also am in a bit of a dilemma whether I will be able to show you, but I've been trying. If you can give me some more time, I will try to finish it up.
Yeah.
Or what I can do, because I thought I will go through some quizzes, okay, and maybe the demo part, that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, what I have, I can devote it on my next session before I start with Docker. Will that be fine with all of you?
Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, because you see, there is no hurry. we will see a demo on GitLab. If let's see how we proceed. Let me continue. I think we can go ahead.
Yeah, please.
So you see a beautiful picture coming in front of you is the GitLab architecture. But do you see it's complicated? I don't think so. If you had seen the Jenkins architecture, you can compare how simple this one is, because every of the services are hosted by the GitLab instance. Internal services that will make your pipeline work. You have to write a script and make provision for the jobs. You configure one job or two job or n number of jobs. This is a pipeline, and this pipeline will be executed by a runner. A runner is running on a host. It can be a Linux host, it can be a Windows host, or it can be a Mac host. But generally, a company, a good organization will always go for a good host, which is a Linux host, a powerful host. Why? Because you might be running parallel jobs and you might be running multiple runners, or there can be a case where you are running multiple runners on multiple hosts. That is also fine. In Jenkins, if you had to implement this architecture, it would be very complicated. Quite complicated, because in Jenkins, one pipeline, you have to configure it with a lot of hard work. And it is not guaranteed that it will work. If you are an expert, yes, it will of course work. It works very nice. But here, you do not need to do anything. What you need to concentrate on or focus on the script, pipeline script. That's all. So your runner will be automatically assigned to your project, which is running the pipeline. I will. I think in the next session, I can demo that part. I have created a demo for you, how simple it is and how powerful it is to execute a GitLab runner project. GitLab project, a DevOps project. Okay. So multiple runners can be run on multiple hosts, or multiple runners can be on single host. Multiple pipelines can work on a single host, or multiple pipelines or distributed pipelines can work on distributed host. You just need one GitLab instance. You host your project on it. Or that instance is nothing but a GitLab server somewhere on the cloud. And you do not need to pay for this server. You just have to create an account for it. One GitLab instance will be allocated for you. GitLab runners are the agents that you run your CI/CD jobs. For these are some agents which needs to pick up the job and execute the job. Because you see, the job is nothing but your application. You are running some application. Do you think it's an application? You are running some application A, application B, maybe a Python application, maybe on the first job. Then there is a Java application on the second job. So some output from Python goes to the Java. Java then processes it, gives to the next output, next job, which may be a very simple shell script. So it is up to the application that is being designed, but you as a DevOps engineer, you have designed the pipeline, you have designed the pipeline script. And your installed GitLab runner will pick up the job one after the other. And because your jobs are nothing but applications running inside the container. And what is container? It is Docker. Docker is one engine which will enable that. So a runner will execute that Docker job. GitLab server assigns pipeline jobs to the available runners. So you have to assign it. All these things are there. So managed SaaS versus self-managed. See, in an organization, they are, see this one part, as I told you, in my AWS session, we were learning about your platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service. So software as a service is everything you have given it to your cloud provider. They will manage even your application, even your data. Similarly, you can get a SaaS version of GitLab, that is the enterprise version. If your company wants everything will be managed by GitLab, all the services, it will be taken from GitLab, it is fine. But there are many medium-sized companies, many small-sized companies, they want self-managed organization. So you manage the runners fully from your own, from your side, and that is my preferred configuration. Why should I give everything to GitLab? Because then basically you are saving your cost. And why a company has hired you? You know GitLab. So the company is indirectly saying that please save me of that cost of giving everything to GitLab, because GitLab is going to charge me. So I'm hiring you. Please help us to set up our self-managed runners. And you won't believe me. I don't know why GitLab has given such a facility, because they are losing their business of getting into the managed. They could have easily, but that is the beauty of a powerful tool like that. You do not hide your technology. If you can provide a better technology, you give it. And that is what they have done. That's why it is gaining popularity, that within you have sacrificed your managed services in front of this self-managed runners. And you won't believe me. You can take it from me. You can easily set up your self-managed runner. So the company is only paying you, not to GitLab. That's good. It's good for you. You know the technology, how to set up your own runner. That's all. So connect your own GitLab runners or set up your own GitLab instance. So this is called the self-managed. You are setting up everything by yourself. Or you are letting everything taken care by gitlab.com, the company GitLab. Whereas you are setting your gitlab.mine. So you are setting up the project yourself, doing your self-managed runners. I will prefer this one, because I'm going to save my company's money. Pipeline configuration, I will not go into very good part of it, but yes, you write a YAML file. And this is simple, not at all complicated. If you compare Jenkins and Azure pipelines, they are quite complicated to write, to understand, to comprehend. The simple YAML format, you put everything into this and you have built your pipeline. You have coded your pipeline. That's it. You put it, your pipeline script, you put it in the root folder of the project repository. That's all that you need to do. That's all. This is the configuration that you need to do. Nothing else. Everything is set up for you. And basically you put it into the project folder, the root folder. So the jobs are nothing but these are, say, one job is running the test, building the image, deploy something. So job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4. That is the CI/CD pipeline. What you do, you write the GitLab CI.yaml file. That's all. So you are saying job 1, script. You give some script to execute. Job 2, script. You execute a script. That's all. Like a job could be by the name run tests. So run test is one job. And so what is your command? Through the script, you say make test. Make test is on the command line. It's a make utility. You say make test. Like if you are building an image through Docker, what is your script? Your various commands are simple. You see, Docker login. You are logging into Docker. Docker hub. You are Docker build. So you're building an image. Then you are saying Docker push. You are putting it into the Docker hub. So by doing this, you are building an image. How simply? So who is running this job? Your GitLab runner is running this job, executing this job. Anyway, we are going to see that as a prepared demo. Then there is you can save your secret information. You can mask your variables. You can your sensitive data can be protected, like passwords, username, personal access tokens, project access tokens. These are very secret information. You do not want to divulge this with the other users because there can be lots of company secrets. You see passwords. You cannot part with this information with others. Username, access tokens. So you concentrate on the pipeline scripts. Secretive information, everything will be used in the CI/CD environment by the GitLab, provided by GitLab. See, everything is provided by GitLab. You put those variables into secret with the secret information inside the GitLab environment, CI/CD environment. That's all. You mask it. So I have a hands-on. I will just explain today. I will not go into the details because I think we are over time. We are on the next weekend. We will take half an hour, not even half an hour. I will take 15 minutes. OK, to prepare a demo of your GitLab. That what is done, that there is Terraform. I'm going to use Terraform jobs to be executed on a GitLab pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. So I will see how automatically by least of effort, I will be provisioning some resources on my AWS Cloud. Isn't it fantastic? I will just trigger some change somewhere in my I will push some changes onto my GitLab repository. Immediately the pipeline will be triggered and immediately the jobs will start firing one after the other in a pipeline. So when you see your resource will be deployed before you execute your pipeline, it was the default VPC. I'm talking about the AWS VPC. I'm going to create a VPC of my own, virtual private cloud, a network element. OK, now every region, this is the Mumbai region. This is my IAM user, Devops Internship. Remember, we have created this particular user with administrative privilege in our AWS session. I think you remember. So we are going to use all this setup, and this setup is going to there is an existing in the region. There is an existing default VPC, but we are going to create with the help of Terraform, we are going to validate. These are the various jobs. These are the various stages. The one that I have highlighted with a red mark. These are I have given the job name and the stage name the same. So these are the stages: validate, then plan, then apply, then destroy. If everything goes fine, with the approval, I will destroy the resources that I have created. So what is there in the pipeline? The pipeline is validate job, plan job, apply job, destroy job. So there are 4 jobs in the pipeline. First, validate. There is a dependency between the plan and the validate. After the validation is over, these are all Terraform jobs. See, I'm using only one tool in the GitLab pipeline, that is Terraform. I'm going to provision my individual VPC. I've created a provision after I've executed the pipeline. You see, it was earlier one default VPC. Now you have added your Devops Internship VPC. This is what we are going to demo in our next weekend session. Is that fine? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that will be great.
Just one last bit of thing. If you can just to make this interactive session a bit more interesting, So I have prepared few interview questions, which are basic questions, but these are the questions through which the interview can judge your level of understanding of GitLab. So can anybody try to attempt this? Any guess, any answer, good answer, bad answer, very good answer, very bad answer, everything is an answer. How is GitLab different from GitHub? These are two different products, GitLab and GitHub. Is there any difference?
So GitLab comes with configuration of the pipelines, but GitHub does not have that.
Very good. One very important, I mean, very good attempt. Fantastic. Anyone else with something else? Okay, because we are running short of time, let me try to answer that. So what is an ideal good answer? There is no good answer. You see, there is no correct answer. Answer is more or less, this is a good answer if you think, because both GitHub and GitLab are version control systems. Both are version control system. You can use GitLab as a version control system. You can use it as a code repository. Okay, like GitHub, versioning control. It can be a bit difficult to choose one of the two. The most significant difference between the two is the GitHub primarily focuses on collaboration and code review, whereas GitLab focuses on DevOps as well as continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline. Somebody has given me the correct answer. I do not know her name, but thank you. Congratulations. You have just hit the right answer. Why GitLab is better than Jenkins? If can somebody, we have already discussed that. It's an interesting question. Yeah.
I think Jenkins is only used for CI/CD, while GitLab can be used both for CI/CD and for an entire complete job in DevOps.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, good hand. So GitLab provides more than what Jenkins is hoping to evolve to by providing a fully integrated single application for the entire DevOps lifecycle. So GitLab has gone a quantum jump over Jenkins. And that's why the market has been captured. More than Jenkins' goals, GitLab also provides planning, software code management, that is source code management, which is a versioning control like the GitHub, packaging, release, configuration, monitoring, and what not. It is a planning tool like the Jira. It is a GitHub tool. It is a packaging tool like for a Maven. You do not need to use Maven. It can package for you. It can release. It can configure, monitor. So many things. Thank you. Is GitLab better than Jira? Now, this is a tricky question. Any attempt? Any guesswork. I think Jira is also a very popular tool, but it is mostly based on the project management part of it. Okay, let me show you the answer. It's a good answer is if you say while Jira is better for mid-sized teams who need specific things to test and track while developing code. Okay, but GitLab is ideal for the largest teams. It can deal with a very large team out there who need features to improve their workflow. So Jira does not have full development lifecycle features, whereas GitLab has. So a very large team, because it is very difficult to manage a large team, a mid-sized team, 7 to 9% working in a team is well managed by Jira from the project management perspective. But if you want to manage a large team with many variety of requirements, then and to have all facets of that life cycle, it is better to go for GitLab. Why should I use GitLab? So it's a sort of a a broad question. The main benefit of using GitLab is that it allows all the team members to collaborate. This is a very important. If you can see every question, please remember, in an interview, interviewer is looking for your buzzword. If you may not have answered in a very correct manner, the way the interviewer would like, but if you can hit upon that particular word, you have scored. And what is the buzzword here? Collaboration. Because we want to collaborate with a large team. And can we get a better tool than GitLab? I don't think so. GitLab offers tracking from planning to creation, as we said, from ideation to production, to help developers automate the entire DevOps lifecycle and achieve the best possible results. Do you like this answer? Short, to the point, and hitting the buzzword. That is how you should face the interview. What is pipeline in GitLab? You know that. I will not go into. Pipeline is a group of jobs that get executed in stages. All of the jobs in a stage are executed in parallel. Okay, the jobs can be executed in parallel, and if they all succeed, the pipelines move on to the next stage. But many companies would not like to execute in parallel. They would like to execute in sequence. So you can say parallel is one thing that many companies try to achieve. But the simplest one is the sequential one, which is non-parallel, which is lateral. Okay. Anybody who has a knowledge of Git, can you tell me what is the difference between fork and branch? Because if you know GitLab, the interviewer will assume that you know Git very well. Git is a technology, version control technology. So that whoever implements that technology is the tool. And one tool, a very famous tool, is GitHub. Other one is Bitbucket. Okay, and this one is GitLab. But so you must understand what is difference between fork and branch. So I know forking creates a full copy of your, it is like a clone. You are cloning the entire repository from somewhere to somewhere. Whereas branching only adds a branch to your existing tree. So you are branching from the master branch or the main branch to some other feature branch. So whatever is available in the master branch will be available to the feature branch to start with when you create that branch. That is very important. It is not cloning. You are copying all the content of the master branch to the branch, the newly created branch. Whereas cloning means you are dumping everything, you are forking everything from the repository from one place to the other place. How could you explain how does the CI/CD pipeline works? Again, I will not waste any time. Continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline automates the software delivery process. That is the buzzword, automation. You must mention this term, automation. So why do you create a CI/CD pipeline? Because I want to automate the execution of the jobs. That is one thing. So there can be, in an interview, there can be long-winded. These are all short answers, questions, but there can be long-winded questions. Can you tell me, how would you set up and configure GitLab CI/CD pipeline from scratch? So you have to scratch your brain, collect yourself, be calm, and try to understand what are the steps. So if you are very good in GitLab or creating any pipeline, whether in Jenkins or GitLab, doesn't matter, you will go through all these steps. These all things are available in my in our training site. So if you are registered, and I hope you are registered, you can go into our site and get hold of all these things. Same thing, can you explain how you use GitLab Runner? This is the GitLab Runner. Always think, first of all, you must be a good listener. Always try to listen to the question very carefully, because there is a trick, there is an answer within the question itself. And how it fits into the CI/CD pipeline. Now, this is a big, long-winded interview question. So you can go through this. So always collect before you know this is going to be a big answer. Do not try to answer it in a shortcut way. Try to give it your whatever knowledge you have, explain it fully. The interviewer is judging you not only from what answer you are giving. They want to know whether, first of all, you know. See, interviewers never try to judge what you do not know. They always try to, because I was also working in IBM. I had taken a lot of interviews. What our principle was that we should judge a person who is sitting for the interview as to know how much that person knows. We never judge a person on how much that person doesn't know. That is a bad interview. So be confident. You do not fake your answers. Never try to fake your answers. If you do not know, simply say you are working on that. Exactly. You have not covered the entire topic on that, but you have a plan to do it. You do not say, if you do not know any answer, do not try to fake it. And if you know an answer, don't try to answer it in very short. That is my whole session today. Okay. I thank you very much. Appreciate your patience and your.
And I think we have few questions. One question. Any similarities between Splunk Lab and GitLab?
Any?
So any, I think it is in the chat. Any similarities between Splunk Lab and GitLab? Is
Okay.
it both are same or it's
no,
little different?
They are quite different. But may I know the purpose of this question? Because this question is a very, a very advanced level question. If you have covered DevOps initially, and also you have covered the SRE part of it, then comes this question.
Yes.
Did I answer the question? Because maybe I'm going in shortcut, but it is not the right forum to answer or this question, because for that I need to understand your basic platform for this question. Whether you are working on Splunk and you wanted to know the difference between GitLab and that particular environment.
Absolutely. And because in Splunk Lab, you have, you do have servers which you have to provision, which of course in most cases usually you have to go by, like you said, it's not automated, it is like you have to go, step by step manually trying to build a server up. And of course also, in terms of, getting this done where GitLab does everything for you. You have to go to the back end, do all of those architectural whatever, and then come back to the front end to kind of like see whether you got it right or not. So
correct.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. So I'm like, which is this similar, or even if it's similar, or is there a correlation, or is there a difference in this, and which one is most viable and easy to to use when it comes to provisioning and building up servers and architectural infrastructures?
I will give you an information about Splunk. Splunk is so costly. Splunk is a SaaS, software as a service. So it comes with lots of inbuilt features, but those are so costly that another company called Elastic, they have come with an Elastic Stack. So Elastic Corp has come up with an Elastic Stack, which is absolutely free. So which one will an organization go for? Whether they will go for Splunk or Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is part of Elastic Stack. So in the stack of or a suite of that particular product, there is Elasticsearch. First of all, there is Bits, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Yeah. And then you have your Grafana or maybe Nagios to present the visualize it. What has happened over, you are health checking the monitoring and everything, then you produce the output on this. Splunk does everything in one product. So can you think what is the cost? It is absolutely astronomical cost. So people who were fascinated with that product, now people means your companies, they are gradually coming back. They have they have downgraded their systems, not downgraded in terms of quality, but they have downgraded the cost. They have cost curtailed and switch over to Elastic Stack.
Here, I would like to add a few more points. Now, your question is very good, but GitLab and Splunk Lab, they are not our exact competitor, and because they are working in different field. Now, Splunk Lab is mainly if you are working on monitoring, it is good. Now, in overall market capture, you can ask GitLab can complete more or less 70 to 80% of IT requirement, while Splunk or Splunk Lab can cover only 16%, because Splunk is focused on only for monitoring. But whilst GitLab is giving you managing, planning, creating, packaging, secure, deployment, release, including monitoring. Now, if you are comparing only for monitoring aspect, which is better, then Splunk is better. Because monitoring point of view, GitLab is not as good as Splunk. But GitLab is a package. It's give you lots of things, and the source code management, group code analysis, SAS, DAST testing, container scanning, Jupyter notebooks. This everything is missing in the Splunk lab or Splunk system.
Okay.
Even the firewall and defending mechanism also is not enabled in Splunk, like web application firewall, container host security, container network security. You will find this thing in GitLab, but not in Splunk.
Exactly.
Okay. Understood.
See, each and every product has its target segment, the market, as well as the the specialty of a product. Splunk is very good for a very large organization who has have a lot of money, money muscle. But there are many companies which are small-sized startups or your mid-sized. They will always go for GitLab, even if they are not comparable products. But if they can manage with Nagios instead of Splunk, they will manage with GitLab and Nagios. Okay, that is what or they may go for GitLab, Elasticsearch, or your Elastic Stack and Nagios. That will be much cheaper proposition than Splunk.
Now I'm coming to your second question. Is there a certificate for DevOps, and how mandatory is good to getting a role? Yes, there are a good number of certificates is available in the market. Now, please be very cautious. Now, here is most of the students who wants to join in the DevOps industry or this particular domain. they have wrong ideas to gather more and more certifications. Now, there are two types of certification. One is provided by your university or your institute or online program like a Linux Academy, Udemy, Edureka, even from Kalkey. This is like your training certification. Their value is less compared to any certificate you will get from any institute. Now there is another kind of certificates, this is called a vendor certificate, that is provided by AWS, Docker, Kubernetes. You just name it. Every tools they have their own certification. Azure, Gits. So these certificates, they are called vendor certification. These certificates has more value compared to your institute generated certificate. Now, the second part is it important to get the job? No, not at all. Now, most of the training institute, they will tell you that they will provide certificate, will also provide certificate, but will it help you to get the job? No, because it will help you to attract more recruiter, but at the end of the day, you need to face the interviewer and in the interview panel.
Exactly.
And they will judge you on your hands-on experience. How good you are with your terminal, how good you are with your configuration and the servers and on their infrastructure if they are placing you. So if you want to land on a job on DevOps or any IT domain, forget about certification. Don't go for certification because certification will cost you money, effort, and time. But it will not give you any benefit. But for getting a job, now when it will give you benefit, when you are already in the job, then your company will provide you this kind of certification. After doing this kind of certification, you will go for your promotion. And most of this vendor certification is not free. It is very costly. Like few of those, like a SaaS training and CSSB training, they are like a bank breaking cost. Now, some of the training, vendor certification training, sorry, not training, my bad. Some of this certification, even you cannot apply by yourself. You need to recommend it by your organization's manager or supervisor. So why it is important? Because it will create not only your portfolio, your company's portfolios as well. I'm giving a scenario. You are working in a big four. You know the big four. Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst & Young, and PwC, and they are mostly audit firm, right? Now they got a project. Suppose I'm giving an example. Just suppose Johnson & Johnson, their client. Now Deloitte had a project for a Johnson, or their Deloitte is trying to bid for a project in Johnson & Johnson to validate their infrastructure is SOC compliant or not, right? Now Deloitte need to tell that how many people in their particular this team has SAS certified, CSSB certified, and they have a certification on Kubernetes and Docker. So when they create this kind of portfolio, they can bill accordingly, and your hourly rate will increase accordingly. So it will not going to help you directly to get a job, not directly, even indirectly, it will not get help you to get in the job. But once you are in the job, it will help you to promote yourself, advance yourself. Yes. Did you get my answer? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because most of the, most of the, the people calling for certifications are there. All they do is just to, tutor you on how to be certified, but rather on the hands-on, because like that's why there's a lot of people losing their jobs, because you have all the certifications, but you do not have the hands-on. You are on the job, you don't even know what to do. You don't even know where to start.
I think we do have we had some few our fellow students who have already completed on our DevOps classes like main training with us. So okay, um, you will have a, and they are in the WhatsApp group as well. So you can discuss and you can have an idea like all of our training, 80% are hands-on. Now this particular internship program, our hands are tied because we have only 2 hours to complete, to give an overview of that particular tools and show the hands-on. Now just think, this GitHub in our main courses, the duration is I think 6 days, daily 2.5 hours. So 20 hours. Now from there, we are going to like an out of this 20 hours, maybe 2 hours is the theoretical part, and we also prefer, send you some links to you can read that thing in your spare time. But what you will not have in your spare time to work on a live project, right? Work in the real scenario, what actually you are facing in a industry. Now if those people are actually in the job market trying to grab a DevOps or any IT job, they are well aware that some people are bending the rules and trying to grab the job by any means, getting help from other people. Now they actually missing the point. The landing on a job is not important. Getting a job is important. There is a difference. Landing on a job means you land on a job, and after 15 days, the company came to know that you are not actually eligible, and you are got fired.
And that's
but getting a job means yes. And getting a job means you make yourself in such a way or upskill in such a way that you are actually eligible for that particular job, and you will continue for for that particular role. If some things happen, you have the ability and understanding by which you can upskill yourself during the project going. Okay.
Thank you.
So I think we are going to complete our session. Now I have few questions for all of you and one announcement. You can guide us how we can improve our this internship towards weekend session. Is it more theoretical portion you want, or we should move more hands-on session?
Hands-on.
Hands-on.
Don't even go any
Hands-on,
further.
yeah.
Hands-on. That is, yeah, it's good to know the basics and the rudiments, but hands-on, I know we cannot learn much in this. Is just a introductory, but at least it gives us some kind of pathway.
If you join our last session in Ansible, the Ansible out of 2.5 hours, 60% or 70% was hands-on. But what we face that most of the students, as they don't have a basic understanding or about what is Ansible and how the Ansible works, they are losing the interest. Now I can understand you have a prior, you are working in the industry, you have a prior understanding. So hands-on is exactly you need. And actually doing hands-on training is we are more accustomed with, right? Because our main classes is hands-on. Now to move to the little bit theory and little bit hands-on is what we are planning. So you can suggest us, and you just also need to think that we will in this session today we had like more or less 40 people. Now how we can make it more understandable to everyone, because for hands-on we have our own like whole course. But do you feel this today's session is more 60-40? 60 is
60. You can do that hands-on 40, for the explanation and all of those things, so that once you give us a brief explanation, then you go into the hands-on, and then you do it. We'll see it, we'll practice it, and and everybody's on board.
Makes sense.
And that's just
Makes
my own.
sense.
That's
No,
just my own.
See, you definitely.
I don't speak for others.
And any other suggestion? Okay.
I guess I remember.
No, that's fine. Because at least you are the one who gave the your thought, right? So we need more input from our attendees, because these sessions' main agenda to fulfill their needs. It is not like, and we always prioritize market and our students or our people, and this session, our main training is designed to help them. So as per their need, as per the market needs, we always modify ourselves.
Hello.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. I enjoyed the session of today very, very much, and I think, bearing in mind the objective of this internship, it is more directed towards persons who do not yet have a very good understanding. So I think a greater portion of the session should be the theory, because it lays a good groundwork or foundation for these persons, and then very little practicals or hands-on to better their understanding. Like you said, the Ansible session maybe scared some persons away already who do not yet have a good foundation in this. I think more of hands-on may help the very few who are already good or advanced in DevOps, but the majority who may be beginners here, it may not help them very much. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you
now,
very much.
I let me tell you, we were trying to fine tune our hands-on and the theoretical ratio for this particular internship program, because we have done more than trained more than 10,000 students in our main training, and we have doing this thing for a couple of years. So we have already done our job, experimental job. So we know how much should be 80%, 70 to 80% hands-on is required to get a job. So that tune is not necessary. But for this one, the internship one, as by Bidemi mentioned 60% hands-on, Alain mentioned 60% hands-on. Vaughn mentioned his thought, like more on theoretical, hands-on is less.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you what we have done and our experience for last 3 consecutive series. In AWS session, we conduct like a 50% hands-on, 50% in theory, and most of the students, they become more interactive and they had the interest. But whenever we are trying to increase our hands-on section in Terraform, people are start trying that or thinking that maybe it is not their cup of tea, because our main agenda is not them to figure it out and okay, I cannot copy it up, so better try to find some other job. So that will be a bad message we'll deliver. Now then again, we increase little more hands-on in Ansible, so the whole session was kind of one-way session. Today we try to maintain like a 30% hands-on, 70% theory, but unfortunately because of the time gap, we are going to come, as we are not going to skip this 30%. Definitely we are going to continue from the next weekend. The first 30%, the remaining 30% will complete, then we will move forward to Docker. So, and but again, today's session is little bit interactive for those are very new, but I think little bit boring for people like Alain and Bidemi, as they are working in the in the industry even. So we need to find some.
No, it's not boring. No. It's not boring at all.
So we need to find some fine tuning, and we
It is very difficult to
definitely
hit the correct ratio.
recipe. Yes. And one more announcement, like every month we start our DevOps batch, like all of our batches. So the interval between two batches is 1.5 months. So our April DevOps evening batch, evening is 7:30 p.m. Central Time, daily 2.5 hours, is going to start next Friday. And this class is going to continue for next 6 weeks. So those who have already joined our internship program from day 1 through still continuing with us, and they feel that they should enroll themselves for the main courses, I would like to tell that the link is live. You can enroll yourself for the upcoming evening batch. Morning batch is going to start not in April, it is going to start in May. I think May 1st week, right, Mr. Devashish?
Yeah, true.
So that is one announcement. We are going to start our internship program in data analytics, data science, and cybersecurity within 1 or 2 weeks. So if you are in the group, WhatsApp group, you will get notification by default. If not, please join the group, so by which you will came to know the exact internship program in for cybersecurity and DevSecOps, AI and data engineering, and data analytics as well. Any question from any of you? I will for DevOps. Are you asking?
Yeah.
I want to ask a question, Kalkey.
Yeah, please.
So how easy is it to transition into cybersecurity from DevOps?
Now, that is a very good question. DevOps, cybersecurity is a you cannot say it is a concept. It is an unavoidable. You are here? Yes, please.
Yeah.
So let me introduce, and this is Karthik. He is our cybersecurity trainer. He has lots and lots of experience in that particular domain. So he's the best person who can give you the answer.
So when it comes to able to upgrade yourself from development environment to the security, the learning curve is not as steep as most people think of that. In fact, I have been a pen tester, ethical hacker for a very long time, and I've seen and trained a lot of ethical hackers. One of the best hackers we see all come from development background, right? What happens in security is that you may be doing a functional activity that is already existing. We just are going to add a few more checklists to that, right? So for instance, if there's a text field where you are making sure for username, I'm supposed to only enter a particular characters only from A to Z, small and uppercase and lowercase letter. That is what is going to be there. Nothing else could be there. There's one more checklist that is going to happen up there from a cybersecurity perspective. Same thing that is going to happen. There is some few tools like Zap and NetSparker, which requires a very bare minimum activity for that as well. In terms of moving the learning curve for developers, or if you're already in IT, is going to be very easy compared to people who are coming from an operations perspective, right? People are more involved into Linux and managing Linux will have a bit more. It will be easy for them as well. It's not that going to be difficult. But for developers, they understand much better from dev teams. It is going to be much more useful. And especially from a developer perspective, there's something called as a code review that happens out there, because since they already read their own code, they can be able to understand from a security perspective what else they have to put there and is it matching or not. So it is not going to be that difficult for a developer perspective, as we might think.
Right,
I hope that answers that.
Yeah, thank you.
Now here, Babatunde, I will like to add few more points. Mr. Karthik, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm telling you on job hunting point of view, not on technical view. Now think about a employer side. If there needs to now cyber security become a kind of unavoidable thing in IT industry. Now most of the company, they have a very good developer, they have a very DevOps engineer, but they are not maintaining actual the security code. So that's the reason last couple of weeks you will find lots of hacking news is coming. Like I don't know if you are aware of or not. T-Mobile's got sued because 1.7 million users PII data was hacked. Few days before, same thing happened is Northern Bank, and there is another bank, and their PII data was hacked. Now, what is the reason? Because last couple of maybe last 5-6 years, company is trying to move from waterfall methodology to agile with help of DevOps. Now they have already moved, few of the companies they have already moved, and few are on the process now, but they are still not maintaining their as per security policies as per market standard, right? Now company is trying to hire people who have a DevOps ideology and have very good understanding of cyber security. So the new job role pop up or created, that's called DevSecOps. Market demand is very high. You cannot imagine how much high is. One of our fellow students, I don't know he's available or here or not, he got a 8 call in 1 week, and each call is the recruiter was offering 160 to 190K per annum. The agenda is the person in DevSecOps, they should know DevOps as well as cyber security. DevOps, you have already created your automated pipeline, but how about the security? So DevSecOps is like a thing. They have one hand is a fork with the DevOps, another always has a knife with security. Now you do the eat the dishes. You got the idea, Babatunde?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why I asked the question is because currently I'm, doing my master's in cybersecurity, and I just did my certified cybersecurity certification as well. Currently, I'm working as a DevOps engineer, cloud DevOps engineer as well. So I wanted to see, if like if you know of anybody who has transitioned from DevOps into cybersecurity, or probably with DevSecOps, and how easy it was for them to transition into such a, so that was how I asked that question. Michelle.
We not only know, we train those kind of particular for those job role, because DevSecOps is so DevOps will be revolve in SRE and DevSecOps in these two another branch it will create. So DevSecOps is we are just facing the tips of the iceberg, because it will grow, and the main issue in the market is the demand is very high, but the required people with appropriate skill is not there. Now you can find any big vendor like Big Four, because they are doing the audits, security audits for all of the IT companies, most of the IT companies. There, apart from Big Four, there is another league like Bain, McKinsey's, and so there is another 7 leagues. So you can check their website. They have always opening for DevSecOps position, and the requirement you need to know, or you have a very good understanding of DevOps as well as very good understanding of cybersecurity.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Most welcome. Any other question? Okay then. So thank you for. I think we can wrap today's session recording.
Okay, Minan, there are a few questions regarding how will the students or participants access the previous recordings. Can you please explain that?
Previous recording is very. Those people have already registered for program 1. The recording you will find in the first chapter. All 4 days recording is there. Those already missed the program 1 registration because program 1 registration is closed now. I need to think how we are going to share those things, because for program 1, I think more or less 160 people registered. So it is touching our upper limit. So the systems the registration was closed. Now those Jairam, just tell me, do you have the registration? Did you complete the registration for program 1?
No, I just registered only 2 days ago from the YouTube. I just came to this website. Now, after listening to this entire conversation, I want to go and look at the previous sessions so I really can understand how much knowledge I require to really step into this program. Because I'm coming from IT background, from administration and analytics. I want to switch to DevOps. So I am just trying to get the basics streamlined, as the teacher was telling, like, I need to be comfortable with the basic tools so that I can catch up the sessions or actively interact when I join into the program. So I just want to do the ground up work right now.
So program means what program? Our internship program or main training program?
Main training program.
Main training program, you don't need anything. We are going to start from very basic. We are going to start from Linux from day 1.
Okay. Also,
so we are,
the cost of this
because
program, can you please?
The link is up in the message, and you just need to click it. You will find the prices, because prices varies from country to country. Now, the second thing, so Jairam, are you based in which country?
I'm right now in New York City.
Okay, so if you are in US, it just then the above link will work with you. Just click it and you will find the pricing and the starting date and the course curriculum, everything. The timing, because the next starting date is 12th April, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We have a morning batch, but morning batch is going to start from May. So there's like a 1.5 months gap between every classes. How much DevOps refresher course? Yeah, Olu, I know you have done the course and you want to redo the courses. I'll you just ping us. I will check. Nothing to worry. Now, Jairam, one more thing. You have mentioned you are right now working as an administrator, IT industry as an admin position. We had we had people like they came from accounting background, hospitality background, not at all IT engineer, but right now they are working as a senior architect or DevOps role, and the number is huge. And that's the reason we start from very beginning. See, Linux and AWS is not a part of DevOps, direct part, right? But why we are trying to introduce those 2 tools or those 2 in our training, because without those 2 things you cannot become a very good DevOps engineer. You cannot work. So if you are very new, but you are serious to change your domain, because Mr. Devashish mentioned, we will provide everything, but you also, and the amount of information we are going to provide, the amount of lab practice project work we are going to provide, but you need to have that kind of confidence that okay, I'll grasp. Now there are few students who have done our courses not only one time, more than one time, because the course is so serious and so much good. But the agenda is, and they are after successfully completions of the course, they have landed on a job. Now job market is bad.
If I feel like I need to really recap some sessions, can I join? Let's assume like I joined this live training, and there are certain areas I think I need some more inputs or refreshment. Can I join the next batch to clear my doubts?
Now suppose here is the trick. Now normally if you need a particular session, like you done the training now, but you feel that Docker part is you need a little bit refresher. Okay, we don't charge for that. You can you just need to we're going to ping you for the classes, because you will have the recording, all the coursework, lab, class recording, everything you will have in a Microsoft Teams channel. We conduct our classes in Microsoft Teams private channel. Now after watching the videos, doing the practice, doing the lab, doing the capstone project, you feel that okay, everything is working fine, but I need little bit refresher courses in Terraform. Then in that scenario, you just need to ping us and we'll give you the access for the Terraform the session. Now that is you don't need to pay anything, because that is like a 1 week session. Now
so for the labs, do you want me to subscribe to AWS, or how does the demos work? Like if I need to practice the labs which you are which I'm learning in the training, I should have my own AWS account where I just scale up EC2 instances like that.
What we will do? Normally AWS will give you $200 free credit for your practice or learning session. Okay, we are using for DevOps, we are going to use that free tier. Our trainer will help you to create the lab on your practice, and they will guide you, by which you don't need to spend a single penny for that. Even as you are creating the account newly for the learning purpose, even sometime students, if they are become little bit, if they forget to delete something, sometime AWS this thing happened prior with our students, $10, $20 they have charged, but then you can communicate with the AWS and they will refund the money, because you are using for learning purposes. But in the coursework, most all of our students, they are going to use their AWS lab with including those they can use those free $200 credit. And the benefit is, after the coursework, the capstone project will provide you a capstone project where you need to implement all your knowledge, information you have gathered during the coursework, and create a live project. Now our training duration is 6 weeks, but you need another 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks to complete that project work after the coursework the training end. So the lab will stay with you, and you can work dig deeper and make your hand dirty with this project work. And then if you face any issues, you can communicate with our trainer in our WhatsApp group or Teams channel, not this group, and separate. Every individual training group have a separate group, and you can communicate with your trainer. You can discuss with your issues, and they will guide you. Now, once you feel that you are comfortable and you have the confidence, you can terminate all of the AWS components. You get the answer?
Yeah, I got the point.
Any more questions?
You are located in US, right? You are located in central.
Yes.
US. Okay.
Is the main class going to be on a daily basis?
Yes. No, daily basis. Otherwise, we cannot end in a year.
Yeah, because when you said it's 6 weeks, I'm like,
no. 5 days in a week for 6 weeks. Now 6 weeks is our terms. But most of the session, most of the batches, sometimes we need to extend 2 to 3 days more because sometimes we need to create some brush up session, little bit look back session, doubt clearing session. So it will increase instead of 75 hours to 80 hours in between, because we are not too much professional on about the timing. We need to make it sure that our students are, confident enough to grab the job and they are really interview ready or job ready for the market.
Okay. So what happens after the 6 weeks training, hands-on training? What happens after? What is next? You now, guide people into how to, sit for interviews, do their resume, tailor their resume to whatever position that comes in the market on DevOps. And what other guide do you give?
Now,
even when they are already in Jira?
Yes. Now the thing is, there are two different things we used to do, and now we are trying to do something new. Last couple from 19 to 21, the market was very, very good. So we don't need any guidance for them to land on a job, because people are good in DevOps. They were landing on a job within couple of weeks or couple of interviews, because the market demand is very, very high. Now you know very well how the market is right now, but still many of our students, consultant, they are landing on a job. But I am not going to misguide you. Okay, whatever is happening in the market and the IT industry, I am stating the fact. So the acceleration was decreased. Now, before, people over time after the classes or the training, they are investing another 1 month or 1.5 months to do the practice on their lab, communicating with our trainer regular basis, and within 1 month and 1.5 months they are landing on a job. Now the market scenario is changed. The worst scenario we have faced in 2022, the last quarter, 2023 last quarter, sorry, my bad. Now fortunately the market is climbing back to its original state. You can see the Dow Jones, Nasdaq is climbing back and following the job market as well. Now the people demand is slightly increasing. To guide our students, what we normally do, we have a huge number of interview question and answers in our website. We normally upgrade that interview question answer every monthly or quarterly, depend upon and those question and answers actually faced by our students in a real-time interview, or we have actual interview questions. For resume, we do have a resume library for that. You can select the resume from there, and you can tweak or rephrase as per your profile. Now the very new thing we have started last week, we are creating another channel with all of our previous students and new students and upcoming students, with all of our trainer, and we will highly recommend that whatever question answer they are facing, or any kind of hurdle they are facing in job market, they can post on that channel. So our mentors our trainers, our IT, the industry experts, they can guide them accordingly. Again, another thing we used to do that after completions of your course, you have a two option. You can go for a full-time position, or you can go for a contractual position. We do have our own consultancy, and we are partnered with another 13 consultancy based in US. Now, last year we every quarter we conduct a seminar with our any one or two or more of our partner consultancy owners. They join in a not a webinar kind of format, in a private channel with our fellow students, with our those partner consultancy owners, and they discuss about the market, their open position, how they can apply, what they are looking for, and what is the students point of view. Now those students are really very much serious. If in our consultancy, if they have a open position, they can join in our consultancy as well. So it's depend upon the market situation, how many queues we have, what is the flow, what is the demand. Depend upon that, we change our path by which students can get maximum benefit. Because until unless you land on a job, our story is not completed. It is not like after completion of the training, our job is done. It's not fully correct. We try to stick together in a small community by which we can monitor and guide as per your job hunt. I give you a long and lengthy answer, I think.
What about mentorship?
Yeah, that's the thing I was trying to tell. In that group, you will have all the trainer, industry experts, and mentors.
Okay.
So if you have any, suppose you are facing any kind of cross question in interview, any consultancy is approaching to you, but they are giving you some bad terms or bindings, you can discuss with them in the group. So we can guide you in that point of view or that aspects as well. Any more question?